Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this episode. Today's check was pretty successful. We got some fur, and I borrowed a tool from my buddy Tyler, and it worked out quite well. We were pretty impressed with it, so stay tuned to see what that's about. So, let's get out there. Still jet boat season out there. There is a little bit of an inside story to why I'm saying that all the time, and as I get a little farther down the line here and get a little bit more comfortable with having myself out here on social media platforms, I might tell the world about it, but that'll be a story for another day. See little chickens. A little bit of snow. I always get off pretty lucky at this trap. First trap, I stop and put my gear on. Dad, he travels out here in his gear, so he has to walk into the first one. Pretty much every single day for the last 20 years. Or more. Anyways, I better get my rigging on so I can do my part. Here he comes with Martin number 1. Is it frozen in there or what?
No, watch, I'm squeezing.
Oh.
I'm just squeezing.
Okay. Well, just walking into our second trap here. This is where we got Martin number 1 there in our last check. Little weasel in here this time. So we'll get him out of here and get things set up again. Jeepers, something chewing on that little guy again. That one's not too bad. We'll try and salvage him. We've been gonna save some weasels here. We're gonna try and help Spruce City Wildlife Association in Prince George. They're gonna do a little youth skinning day during the Christmas break. So we'll get some youth involved in the trapping industry, hopefully. So looking forward to that. Okay, well, you can't really read that, but Sharp's lure. Mr. Wayne Sharp, living legend around Prince George in the trapping industry. Used to run the North American Fur Auction depot here in town. He makes this lure, so I always just stick it on the back mesh there and works pretty good. Stick the stick in there. I try not to put it out the front here because that lure, it smells pretty good. So put it out in the front of your trap. Next thing you know, your fur smells like the lure. So, oh, almost got her. Try this again. I haven't got bit by one of these real hard. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but there was a time my dad got both his thumbs in there. He was kind of in a pickle. Can't remember who was there or how exactly he got his hands out, but I know it was a little bit of an issue for a few minutes for him. Okay, I got the lock wire caught in there. Okay, we're reset here. Yeah, this guy got his neck chewed on too. Oh well, like I said, it'll work. Get the youngsters skinning some weasels, and my guess it's not going to be the only hole in him. So, okay, on to the next one. Well, just unloaded the sleds here, getting ready to head out on the first section of the line, but I first off got to chop some bait. So I've already had one question of my beaver meat, why it's got the hair on it. So we got a few beavers. There's a guy that I know there, well, a couple guys actually, they do some work for a rail contractor, and these beavers come out off the railway as nuisance beavers, usually in the middle of summer, so their hide's really not worth skinning. So, you know, typically they don't have the felt really when the hide primes up. I see this one must have been taken a little bit later. It's got a little bit in it here, but it's pretty scarce, so not really worth skinning, but still got the caster in them too. Usually I get the caster out of them first, but I think this one they froze it up already, so yeah, some caster in there still. That's okay. That's where the stink comes from. Ooh-wee. Even frozen right there. That's beaver caster. That's their gland that everybody harvests. There's a market for that. There's a market for it, but it's also a good base for a lot of baits because it smells. Hey?
I got it quite a bit.
You got quite a bit in your bag? Okay, I'll just chop up one more sliver here. Should be good.
You got a bag?
Yeah, there's a bag right in the trailer there. So. Well, here's where we were in here a few days ago on the last check. This little weasel, he was chewed right out. I think we got the culprit right here. This guy is way bigger than the first one, so he's a nice catch. A little bit frozen. I'll just see what I can do here, but he's just in there with his armpits, so yeah, there he come out pretty good. Right on. Ooh-wee. Those things smell. Still lots of bait in there. Okay. Let's go check some more. Okay. So this guy in there. Well, here's our most successful trap, and it's not a marten today, but another weasel that's chewed on slightly. So, not sure why everything's getting chewed on here, but anyways, it's nice to get a couple weasels. We were short a few for our program there we're gonna do with Spruce City, so it's nice to have a couple more. Yeah, you see that guy's chewed up on his leg there. Oh, maybe he's not chewed up. Looks like the trigger actually went through his foot. That's what happened. Okay, we'll get this one reset. It's a little guy. That's okay. They all count. A moose has walked in on my trail here. Makes my tracks pretty deep to step in. Just snapped. Well, yeah, it's hard. When we turned around at the end of that last road there, I could tell it does make a difference. Like, it's softer after we go down it. Breaks it up a bit.
Actually, from that last trap on, it's been a little bit, broke up a little bit more in it.
Yeah. That slushy snow we got the last couple days at home, I was hoping they got an inch or two out here, but not the case. There's our marten carcasses from a few days ago. We're gonna throw them in this cubby here. I dug these cubbies out, but it looks like I didn't do a very good job on the sides. The springs look like they're buried in there. Okay. Still lots of bait in there, but throw one around.
Taste.
Couple more. Hey? Give him a taste. Yeah, give him a freebie. Go. There, the next two we're gonna have to pull. Yeah. Got one in my hand here. So this trap and the next one, we got to pull it up because the forestry company is scheduled to knock these trees down here in the next few days. So on the back side against the Forest Service Road, they've already started. They did start before we got notice, so we've lost 2 traps so far. They say it's the notices aren't coming because these are supposedly spring blocks and they can't get permits for their winter blocks, so they're doing their spring ones now. Still doesn't make sense why we didn't get notification of their spring blocks, because we still need to try and manage our fur catch around a couple things. One, our access, and two, if we knew they were going to be knocking these trees down around here, we probably would have set up a little bit heavier, because those critters, oh, I just basically wrecked this box. Those critters aren't really going to have much place to go, so we probably would have come in here and trapped a little bit heavier, set up a few extra traps. Kind of ripped the back off of this one, so we're gonna have to fix it up. But anyways, it is what it is. It'd be nice to have a little bit better communication from the forest company, but we are a pretty small player when you think about the financial side of things. But the humanity of it, you know, these critters are losing their habitat, so kind of makes sense to try and take them out of here before they lose that. So anyways, we'll just keep on trying to work with them. Okay, I'm just rebaiting this one. I'm pretty sure that it is outside of the cut block they're working on right now, but just in case if I read the map wrong, I'm gonna hang some flagging. I don't think this flagging deters these little critters from coming in. I know when I'm setting up and marking my wolf snares, I try not to leave flagging that's flapping in the breeze so it doesn't catch their eye, but I don't think marten really care. So their equipment operator should be able to see that if they get in this far. Hope they don't, because they're sure hitting our line hard this year. But I get it. What I don't get is their lack of communication with us. The more I think about it today, the more I think that they need to reevaluate that. Anyways, I'll reach out to them, see what they have to say. Okay, on to the next one. These tracks are rock hard. Kind of like following railway tracks that are not straight. Looks like we got a fresh one. Okay, looks like we got one there that's just got caught. He's still alive, so I'll go in there and help Dad. That's two. Number two for the day. So he must have just got caught because he was in there, had a good catch on him. So, yeah, so keep him in there. Nice and clean. So back in the day, when footholds were still a thing in Canada, my grandpa, you know, they'd go around and most of their catches were alive because they're in the foothold. He wouldn't bonk them, give him a whack on the head. I've seen him a couple times, you know, give him a small whack just to stun him, but then he reaches in, grabs him. He grabs him kind of by the neck and just under the arms, and just, I don't know, you can sort of feel in there, and he pulls arteries off their heart, and geez, they don't last a couple seconds after that. So that's what I just did with this guy. Obviously not going to show that here, but works pretty good. Okay, on to the next one. Oh, I think it works pretty good. Okay, here, let's see it. I'm gonna just try and stay up on the trail. This trigger's got a weird safety on it, but yeah. So my buddy Tyler lent me this. I forgot to charge it up, so I'm happy to see it's got a little bit of juice, but works pretty darn slick. And I'd say she's just as fast as a chainsaw on the willows, and the blade can't come off, and the chain can't come off. Oh yeah. I was out on his line with him and we used it. It's pretty good, so I wanted to borrow it out here to see if it was worth buying one. Pretty sure I have my answer. Pretty handy. Shaking all over the place, but again, comes down to being one-handed. You don't get these willows nice and low. Next snowfall, you come out. The willows that were 10 feet off the trail are now on the trail. A lot of snow in this area. Okay, I'm gonna finish up here and get back going. Working good. Okay, just stopped at the truck here to grab some butcher scraps to throw in the bait pile. It works pretty good, that small stuff. You put it around your big carcasses, and the birds and stuff, they spread it all over the place. So back in the trail there, Dad mentioned that he threw his scratchers down to cool off the sled, which I'm going to do that to mine here right now too. Most people up the north here, they're going to know what these are all about, but just in case nobody knows what that is, these scratchers, you drop them down, you're on a hard packed trail. It does a couple things. It throws the snow up on your track there to keep your sliders, which right here, keep those plastic sliders cooled off. And it also, the snow that throws up on the track, it gets tossed up to the heat exchangers that are up under the tunnel. So this particular sled makes a huge difference. We had this aluminum box on here, and well, we made that 10 years ago probably, but a couple years ago we actually put these blocks in there to get it up off of the tunnel because it makes a huge difference to get some airflow on there. But this this sled makes a huge difference with the scratchers down. This sled works pretty good because it's actually got a radiator. It's got a radiator in it as well, so it doesn't rely solely on those heat exchangers up under the tunnel. But we got a few clicks to go of a heavily traveled trail here, and it's going to be rock hard, so that's going to help keep my high fax runners from wearing out. Ready?
Ready?
Oh, okay. I missed the walk in here. This is one of the trails that I didn't make it into last time I was in a couple days ago. Something in here. Ooh, marten. Soggy marten. Ooh, this guy made her a long ways in there. There's fish for bait. Little creek right down there, so we figure it's a good. Okay, battery died in the GoPro again. They sure don't last very long. So anyways, just tough slugging in these trails still. Look at this, I was on my knees for a couple steps because it sort of float on top. But this marten is inside that fisher exclusion box. Like we say, they work good to exclude the fisher, but this guy, you know, being all wet sitting on the bottom, I'm lucky it's still, you know, it's about -2 today or something, but a lot of the spots aren't froze up yet because it was probably +3 or 4 Celsius yesterday. So that guy would have been frozen right in there and hard to get out. So that's actually the biggest drawback of those things. I got a bit of an idea to rework that a little bit, that one day I'll get around to making some up. So anyways, Dad, he went on ahead of us. Okay, let's get going. Okay, we just rebaited this little cubby here, and a few little critter tracks around here. It's kind of hard to tell what it is. It's been melted, but there's no marten carcass over there. I'll bring him in. So this is where, down on that lake there's a creek. I got some bait down there, some snares in the bush. We'll go walk in as close as we need to. I do have some of these butcher scraps. I'm gonna go and walk nice and close to that bait and throw them on there. Those butcher scraps work good there when the birds get a hold of them. So spread them around. It's like a big dinner bell for the bigger critters. So okay, let's trudge our way down there. Well, my bait bag split open before I got to where I was going, but that's okay. We got some good scent spread around here. A few little giblets here. It's perfect. Hopefully that brings some critters in. There's some trenches from last weekend, right down to the moss. So just got into one of our baits here. Here it is, sort of half covered in snow. I'm gonna throw some of this butcher scraps around here. Hopefully the birds bring them in. The wolves had been in here a few days ago, or a couple weeks ago, I guess, but a day later we just got hammered with snow. So as you guys seen before there, my snares are all covered in. They're actually kind of useless right now. I need the dogs to come back in. The plan is to get some baits out right sort of on the water there, so right on the edge of the water, and then hopefully they get a bunch of trails in. This is a pretty good spot I'm at. I just got to bring them in here, so I'm gonna take a few minutes and spread some of these butcher scraps out and get the birds in here. Oh, you can hear Dad. He's checking marten sets down the road there. So there's like 3 more sets up past this set of wolf baits, and then he turns around. I meet him up top on the road. So anyways, better get at her. Okay, that's enough for that spot. We're gonna spread them out 100 feet in a circle or something. Okay, got our baits dumped. There's some butcher scraps sitting by the roadkill. Put a few over there in the edge of the lake, and then a few more in the middle of the marshy area here. So we do have a couple of wolf snares over there. You know, there's some around that corner. Where am I here? Right, just around that corner there. And then there's a few up here in the trees. 2, I guess. So I only got half a dozen in here. But first day we come in, when the wolves were here, they did lay down a few good tracks, but that was 3 feet of snow ago. So hopefully they come in. This week's supposed to be a lot cooler, so hopefully in a week or so we can start crossing these lakes, hopefully. So anyways, I can hear Dad coming. I better get up there. Whew. Well, we're a little over half done here today. I think my old beaver hat is a little overkill. It's right around 0 degrees Celsius, barely freezing. Just walked into a trap here, and I was trying to use this GoPro. I used to think my iPhone battery sucked till I started using this GoPro, but anyways, I was walking in there trying to explain how sore my shins are getting today. The snow is just enough crust on it to cut into your leg, but not near enough to stand on, not even under the trees there where you would think it would be packed up, but not the case. Anyways, might be some limited footage. Still kind of hard driving on this railroad track of a trail we have here with one arm. So anyways, we'll see what we can do with the iPhone, because I'm fresh out of GoPro batteries. Okay, I better catch up to Dad. Okay, Dad just put this one back together. Moose tracks right in here. That box kind of got hammered on, so I don't know if the moose give it a rub or what, but eat out weasel. Weasel head. Not much market for a weasel head. Okay. Things seem to be a little bit stiffer now, so hopefully that creek down there is okay. My guess is I get to go first. Okay. Here's a little creek there. We're looking at this on our last trip just from the top of that hill there, but it come close to coming over the road. A little bit of cooler weather last night. Got about -3 Celsius or something out here overnight. Sitting around 0 now, but water level's gone down. Supposed to get pretty cold this week, so should be seeing this stuff all disappear. Hopefully. Okay, onward and upward. These little deactivations are not fun in this warm weather. Little creeks start running, melt the snow. Makes them twice as deep as there actually are. It's pretty much impossible to try and video them with the iPhone, but bounce you right off the trail a couple times. Oh well. If it was easy, everybody would do it, isn't that what they say? We're pretty fortunate to be out here. Cool. Well, coffee time. This is a turnaround spot on this one road. Sure hope our viewers there that tune in and watch us are patient with my filming abilities here. It sure is a lot nicer that trip I made with the GoPro, but got to figure out this battery issue. Dad's always got some dry ribs cooking on the muff pot here. Yeah, oh, chicken wings today. Ooh, hot. Let that cool off. So I got some learning to do with that sled, I think. I'm so used to coming up with those dips and pinning her, where that thing just loses everything it's got when you pin her. I'm not sure what the difference is, but as soon as I back off, it just starts floating up. That wide track and this does its thing, but I'm not used to that yet. Used to my mountain sleds. Okay, I better get eating my chicken wings. This is a messy ordeal. Two-handed ordeal again. Okay, try and capture some more up the trail. Those aren't gonna get any better till we get some frost and some snow. Okay. Those are not fun. You got more mud on that than you got snow. Okay, only about a dozen or so more of those. Not bad. I don't think we'd want to go very slow across that.
Eh?
We wouldn't want to go very slow across that.
No.
Oh. Yeah, we need some
I hate
cold
it when you
weather.
go down that hill before you.
Hey?
I hate it when you go down before you hit the ice.
Yeah, well, that last little creek I had to go turn around because I couldn't really get a bit of a run at it, so I went up the road a ways and turned around. But
How was that next one?
it was fine all the way in here now, so except for the little ones,
Oh yeah.
like the little divots. pain in the butt. So, okay. Another one that I didn't walk into a couple days ago because I already pooped. Something in there. Looks like a flying squirrel. Oh yeah, a piece of bait. Oh, an eaten flying squirrel. Not much of those little guys. Okay, I'll get this guy reset and on our way. I can hear Dad. He just took off. Go check the next one. Goes pretty quick when it's me and Dad out here because a lot of the traps we do that, we kind of leapfrog them. But if it's tough going or whatever, I try and go into as many as I can. So anyways, get this set up and go catch up again. Okay, got this guy set up again. I've done this before here, but I usually take these little chewed out squirrels and whatever and hang them by a wire by the trap. So, you know, I'm thinking that, you know, they're working like a visual attractant a little bit. And another reason is they get so long and gangly and you throw them in the trap box for bait and the critter sort of makes its way in there past the trigger and start pulling that thing out. Half the time that's what's stuck in the trap because it gets frozen in this weird position. And the trap closes, not tight enough to grab your target critter, but grabbing the bait. That happens with a big chunk of beaver meat too, but I find it happens a lot worse with these little squirrels and stuff being used for bait. So anyways, good spot for it. Sometimes it kind of fools you though. You get out by the sled there, you're driving by and you think you got something hanging in the trap, but all it is the bait. So nice, getting trails into every one of these traps this weekend. Not that it's much of a trail, but makes it a lot better walking for next time. Okay, let's go. This thing's amazing. Like, what's this, about 1.25 inches? Look at that, like nothing. I've been driving along with one hand, cutting willows, but right now we got this little bit of a creek here in the Diak, so we're gonna fill it full of willows and then throw snow on top, so hopefully the water runs under our willows and sort of build a bit of a bridge. Oh, keep those over here. Yeah, we're gonna throw those on the water. So okay, show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, there's our willow ice bridge. It'll be nice and packed down as soon as we go through there, and hopefully we get some cold weather. It'll freeze right in. Okay, let's get to the next one. Whew. Okay, it's another opportunity for us to make another little ice bridge. We were gonna do this last weekend, but we're just wore out of energy. So anyways, better grab the shovel and get to work. Okay, there it is after one sled goes through. So once a couple sleds go through, it packs down nice, and forecasted cool weather. There we go. Nothing to her. Oh yeah, more willows. It's okay. Get the willow buster. Whew. Just pounded through a whole bunch of willows. Said it once or twice, but that little DeWalt pruner is proven to be pretty amazing. So anyways, maybe that's the culprit that ate the last marten. This is the one we had a marten head in. So ground set, we don't have too many ground sets. This one was up in the trees, but we come by this fall, it was all knocked down and we were running out of time, so we just sort of propped it up here. But we've got a couple catches in it, so works good. Just doesn't work when critters are laying on the ground. Too many things can get to them. But anyways, I can hear Dad coming, so I better get this out of here and get moving. This one was snapped last weekend. Bait was in the trap, so I figured it was something small. So looks like we got marten number 7 for the day.
Holy crap.
Whew. And I remembered my setters today, so nothing in a little snare. Okay, let's get this one rebaited and reset. Okay, toasted sandwiches today under coffee. 7 marten, 3 weasels.
3 weasels.
3 weasels
Couple
plus
eaten out one.
plus a couple eating out. Yeah, no eating out marten today, so that's good. Whew. Well, I think the biggest takeaway of today is that little pruning shear there. I cut more willows today than I have the rest of the year. And like you say, it doesn't whack you in the face. You hit them with the chainsaw. Lots of times those willows are getting you right in the eyeballs. So, oh. Ooh. Oh yeah. This guy turned up too much, but
Just right.
just right. Turn this one down. The outside gets too hot before the inside gets warm.
Oh, I'm glad I took that other coat off.
You did take your other coat off at the truck?
I brought it, but
Yeah.
I took it off. Ooh.
Pretty warm. 0 degrees right now. You can tell it's warmed up. The crust has kind of gone off the top of the snow. So
7 marten in 2 days.
7 marten, yeah. Those chops have been soaking for 2 days, so pretty darn good. Okay, I think I'm gonna try and get out here for an overnighter next weekend. We'll see. See what the rest of the fam jam's up to. Okay, we'll try and get a little more on the way out. Oh, there's one of those deactivations we didn't fix up. Got all crooked coming out of it. It's doing pretty good, but it's got into a willow patch there. Not much traction underneath those. Okay, I'll dig this out and get going. I think we're getting close. Basically down in a ditch here. Right up on this log. Log's not helping us at all. So pretty much high and dry. But hopefully we'll get her here. Nothing like a little half-hour detour. Oh, some parts of trapping are funner than others. Oh. There. We weren't even down to the ground yet. Still a ditch there to go. Oh. Okay. Get this hook back up and here we go. Oh. Ooh, pretty impressed with that thing most of the time, but sometimes, I don't know. Been a couple moose walk-ins since we were in there. Tracks are going the other way, so they must have hopped off when they heard us coming. Sure is nice to see all this moose sign out here this year. I did get a lot of these willows coming in. There's always more to get. A little bit each time. Should have the trail just right by the time season's over. Okay, we got one of these Diocs coming up here, so that's another two-handed maneuver. Wrestling with them a little bit coming out. Yep, I don't want to mess this up, so okay, here we go. Well, there I go. One-handed hit the kill switch. Oh, I almost messed that one up. Oh, there. The old man's doing way better than I am coming out here today. Perfect. More fresh moose tracks on top of our tracks. Long ways away from the last set. A couple more kilometers to go and we're back at the truck. Double truck hat. Okay, there's today's catch. 7 marten, 2 weasels. One's pretty small. Almost dark. Must be almost 4 o'clock, I think. 1:45. Me and Dad on the line today. Load up and head her home. So, once again, thanks for sticking her out to the end. See you on the next one.